Hi guys, this is Laurel with the Dabbling Hook. How are you guys doing? It is a glorious day out. I've been out. I had to run to Lowe's to look for something, and there are a lot of people there. People were just itching to get out. Thankfully, I think most of the people there had masks on, which was good. They weren't so good about doing, the distancing between groups of people, but for the most part, people were behaving, which is good to see. So I hadn't been out in a week, and when I opened my car door, there were cobwebs. Wow. And a week's not that long a time, but we've been having crazy weather, so I think it's just like scared all the critters out there, including the spiders, because we've had gloomy, wind, so much wind and strong wind, rain on and off. But last night, during the day, I went out on the deck and I said to Father Minion, I think it's going to rain. And then maybe an hour later, he goes, oh, I don't think it's going to rain. I'm like, oh. And then a couple hours later, no, about 3 hours later, I was in the bathroom. What was I doing? You don't need to know what I was doing. I was in the bathroom, not doing that. I was in the bathroom doing something. And there was the loudest, it's like a combination boom and crack. It sounded like a car backfired, like from far away, but really loud. But Father Minion said he was downstairs at the table doing some work, and he said it was lightning. It was like the oddest sound, but it was so loud. And then you just heard, it sounded like someone was throwing pebbles at the house. It started to rain, and no, before that, I had the window cracked just a little bit because it was a nice day out, so just to let air flow. And you heard this huge whistle through the crack in the window, and then you heard the rain sound like pebbles against the house. And let me tell you, it came down. I mean, like scary came down. And I guess I was thinking, I wonder if that's what it feels like to you guys who have to deal with tornadoes every year or something, because yeah, it was weird. Last few years we've been having ridiculous winds like I've never seen before, but yeah, this just took the cake last night. So yeah, and before that it was a lovely, glorious day out, and then today it's been absolutely lovely. So it's almost like we just skipped into summer. But I'm not holding to that because the weather here has just been, like I said, crazy up and down. I think the whole virus situation has confused even Mother Nature, so who knows. Anyway, I am having a very chilled Mike's Hard Punch, the mango punch. It's yummy. And I stuck it in the freezer for a while to get extra cold, so it goes down lovely. I did stop at the liquor store and got Father Minion some of his beer. I'm not a beer drinker. And I restocked on my wine. But then I'm like, oh, I haven't had a Mike's in a really long time. So I got myself some, and I'm glad I did. Oops, and I almost dropped it. So I emptied it into a big glass. You know when you haven't had something in a while? That taste is just... Anyway, what are we talking about? Some of the pictures in the beginning would have been of baby hats. Like I do baby hats now for, usually with my leftover yarns. I don't consider that scrap yarn. To me, scrap yarn is a small ball that I use to throw in a scrap blanket. You just pick whatever yarn. So leftover yarn, I make baby hats for donation. I used to do that a lot more than I seem to have fallen off a bit, but I am still doing it. But back then I did it a lot. So there's some of that. back in 2015, I was big into cowls, so I showed some of those, and those are patterns on my Ravelry and Etsy page. My favorite is the Broken Ridges cowl. I know Kim of Blue Cherub has done that one before. That was a favorite. I had quite a few of my own that I wore to death, and then it used to be a big seller for me. Cowls, not so well. My button cowls now, not the regular full cowls. Although I really haven't made it in a few years. But anyway, and then I've had flowers. I thought I was only going to get one tulip come up, and I've had, the first one I showed was pink, then there was an orange one, and then there are 3 pink ones that came up, darker pink ones that came up. Just made me so happy. And just some other plants around, so it's good. I sort of apologize now. I will be sipping a lot because, yeah, it's hitting the right spot. Anyway, the other thing that I did, I don't know if I showed it at the beginning, but I had, I think I had shown it before. It was a hooded scarf. I think, I was going to say my one and only hooded scarf, but it was my second. The first one I made was for my mother-in-law, and if I can find the picture, I'll put it in. But I had made her one for, pretty sure it was for her birthday, because by Mother's Day would have been too warm for that. But I had made myself one in some roving yarn I had gotten on discount, on clearance, obviously. And I had it there for a while, and I finally decided to use it to make the hooded scarf, and I think I wore it like twice, and it wasn't my thing. So it's just been sitting in my closet, and I finally took it out, and like we know, any type of roving yarn is a pain to frog. I don't mind, but I have to be in the right mindset for it. So I did take some time, and I unraveled it, and let me see. Let me move the wine, or not the wine. Pardon me. All right. So the color, there were 3 colors of the Bernat roving. There was like a mossy green, a darker green, or a darker mossy green, and an off-white color. So this was the hood that I haven't taken apart, but I did unseam it. So it was a 2-tone, probably because I think I only had one of the off-white. So that was that, and obviously it was seamed here. So this was the opening with the scalloped edge. And then the whole scarf part. You can see I had a lot of this one, and then this is kind of the dark mossy green, and then I quite like this color here. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I'm thinking I want to turn it into an amigurumi. I don't know which yet, but I don't think I want to make a wearable out of it. But then if I make it out of an amigurumi, it's like part wool. What would it be like? That's what it's speaking to me that it wants to be an amigurumi. But first I need to finish taking this part out. We shall see what that ends up being. Okay. Acquisitions. So I'm not buying yarn, and I'm trying to keep myself from buying like patterns or books. Right now, if they're on Amazon, I'm parking them in my wish list. But I'm trying not to buy patterns because I'm not making them. And yes, I like to support, but I want to also have it be practical, meaning make something. And I'm finding I'm not doing that. The same thing with the books and everything. So, but I've been on Amazon and things for around the house and stuff like that. But what I also bought, I have an iron that I bought for household use. And when it came, I just assumed that everyone, all irons now have an auto shut off on. This one didn't, and I was quite peeved, and I parked it in the garage. And then when I got back into sewing, I pulled it out because I had bought another one that had an automatic shut off. I pulled it out, and I'm using it for my sewing. But I have really limited space. Like, my table is what is that? It's a 2+ foot table. Yeah, it's a little over 2 feet wide or long, and then it is 18 inches wide. It's a little one of those little folding resin tables. So that's what I cut on, that's what everything is on, and it's starting to pile up. I did actually buy a craft table, and after I purchased it, I'm like, what did I just do? Because I don't have the room for it. So, but I gotta figure something out because it's on its way. I just got the notification today that it's shipped. But the other thing I bought, I wanted an iron that was small enough, you know, that's not taking up room. And you've seen those, what's it called? Oliso irons. The ones that when you put it down, it like lifts itself up off the table. So it's not just sitting on everything. Well, those are quite pricey. But there was a mini one that I was looking at, and then it was on, like the price had gone down, and in a moment of, oh, probably late night shopping, I'm sure, I bought one. What put me over the edge? It was yellow. It's so cute. I shouldn't tip it because I still have water in it. It's a little fiddly, I won't lie. It's the right size for my area, but the handle is not, it's like, it's forcing your hand to be like just here. If this wasn't here, this is the, on both sides is the button you squeeze to do the shot of steam. That's in the way. And it's very hard to get a good grip because it tells you in the pictures to, like, you know, hold on firmly or hold on the correct way, but using it too long would definitely cramp your hands. It would be great, you know, the olden irons that were actually shaped like this, but it was like an iron. Back in the islands, we used to have those, and it actually had a handle. And now all I'm thinking is this would be perfect if it had a handle that you can hold and work from. Because trying to hold on to here for a long period of time really like messes with your hand. And then the steam shot thing doesn't always work when you squeeze it. You have to squeeze a few times for it to get going. Other than that, it's okay. It's I think it's overpriced. You're paying for the name again, and I bought into it. It's smooth and everything. It doesn't have an auto shut off because I guess it's a tiny little thing. The dial is at the top that you just turn. So, would I recommend it? No. Not because I don't think it's a good iron, but I just think it's overpriced for what it is, and you can find, I'm sure, an adequate substitute for that. So, done deal. So, I'm going to go put that over there. So the other thing I bought that I wanted, because again, I did buy a little pressing pad. On one side is, it's a cutting pad with the measurement. I think it's a 10 by 11 or 11 by 11 size. And then the other side is, it's padded so you can press on. It wasn't quite working out for me. And then, of course, you've seen the ads for the wool pressing pads. And it's another thing that I had saved in my, you know, save for later type of thing on Amazon. And I finally, you know, in that same midnight shopping spree or whenever it was, I bought one. I think I bought the 13 by 17, I think it is. Overall, I like it. It's thick enough. Mine is a little over a 1/2 inch thick. I did on one of the reviews, I do see a lot of people have like a cloth underneath. I think one of them said that, you know, it heats from both sides, so both sides of your item gets pressed or has heat on it, blah, 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 all of that. But I think eventually the heat does come through the bottom, so I think that's why some people I've seen have like a cloth underneath it. One of the things about it is when you put stuff on it, it stays there. It's not shifting around. That is true. You could pin into it and hold it if you're steam blocking something small. What else? The only negative I have about it right now is I do a lot of things on that little table. All my cutting and everything's on that tiny little table. So there are a lot of little, you probably can't see it on here, but there are a lot of little bits of thread and fabric on here. That sticks on it as well. And because it's wool, you probably won't see it, but there's a lot of little bits of wool fibers that flies around. I don't know if that will subside after a while. After use, maybe it just gets even more felted, compressed, whatever, but overall it works. I don't know, there's so many versions of it out there. I didn't know which one was the original and which one was whatever, but this one does what it's supposed to do for now. So hopefully when my table comes, and if I can figure out a place for it, because like literally don't have room for it, and I know what I was thinking. That little table is about 3 feet tall, and when I bend over it to cut and do stuff, it does a number on my back. So I was looking for something that's higher. Is it 3 feet? Yeah, it's about 3 feet tall, a little under 3 feet tall. But anyway, I think it's 29 inches, and the table I ordered is another 10 inches taller. So something to help my back. Anyway, acquisitions. I'm going on, and I told Father Minion I wouldn't be long. Oh, that is so good. All right, back to business. So those are my acquisitions. My whips. Do I have any active whips? Actually, no, nothing active that I'm working on for anybody, or of course there are, some dormant whips, some resting whips and such, because they're bags and stuff all over the place. But Minion 2's hat I still haven't touched, so they're there, but nothing super active right now, or nothing I've just started yet again. I did last night and finished. So FOs. The F-bombs I finished, and he picked it up a week ago, and 2 of them have already been distributed. It was for my, excuse me, it was for my teammate whose wife is a nurse in Boston, so she wanted them for people that she works with. So 2 of them have already been given out, and they were a big hit. So that's good. So I'll put up a picture of what the final thing was supposed to be, or was. The other finished object you're seeing right here. Last time I showed you I was still working on the poncho. It's done. Ends are tied in. I did not put didn't put a border on. I did hang on one second. So a couple of people have asked about the poncho. It's your basic granny poncho. I did use my Yvette Shawl center, but using a basic granny poncho would do the same, pretty much. After I was done, I went back and reattached the yarn, and I don't like I know, like Z likes her ponchos, like off the shoulder sexy kind of thing. No, that's not me. So, I went back and I added, I think, 3 rows of, I do it all the same, of 3 rows of purled single crochet. Let's see if I can show. So I just went back and did that. I did decrease here just to keep the try to keep the point. I didn't do it so much so in the back, but in the front, just to try to keep the triangle a little, but that's what that is. Be right back. Okay, so yeah, that's done. I still haven't broken into the last cake. I am going to make myself a hat. I will show you, because I did use the same pattern to make a different hat, or to make another hat. But I'm going to use the last cake to make myself a hat to go with it. I don't think I will be wearing them together, because I'm not matchy-matchy like that. But like I said, the color's called Happy. It makes me happy. So that's the plans for it. Until I change my mind, that is. What else? So Priscilla of Distinctive Crochet put out, I don't know if it's her first pattern or her first official pattern, or maybe it's just her first amigurumi pattern. But she put out a little star called Starshine, and
what?
Anywho, so where was I? He distracted me. Yeah, I did. It's amigurumi, so you know, I was all over that, and I went and I love the butt. I made her Starshine. Yep. I didn't have any yellow worsted weight or bright worsted weight or, oh, is that yellow? Oh no, I think it's a chunky. I didn't have any regular worsted weight yellow to do, you know, the star color. So I'm like, just use whatever. So I had some of this. These are both Karen Lion Brand Pound of Love. Is it? Yes. I think this is Antique White and this is Claret. So it's the red star. And I went a little extra, I think, big with the eyes. It just makes it look a little more adorable, I think. So it's a quick, easy pattern. I think she's doing a few, not changing the pattern, but just little clarifications on certain things. But cute little amigurumi. And remember, you can always do crochet. I think she has hers. She did one with crochet eyes, especially if you're giving this to little ones. Because while they're called safety eyes, they are not recommended for anyone 3 and under. So just keep that in mind. So good job, Priscilla. Yeah, so head over. I know she said right now it was kind of put out there for testing by use. I forget what it's called, but it's free. I don't know if it's going to be free permanently, but it's there now, and basically you make it and give her feedback, and you know, that way you get the pattern for free and she gets the updates that she needs to make. All right, next. So last, when I was making the poncho, or finishing off the poncho last time, I had a little bit left because I didn't want to have the border be different colors. So I ended up making this little guy, and this is the Crochet Kitty. Is that what it's called? I'll have the link down below. It's on Ravelry. It's an all-in-one piece. The only thing that you have to do separate is the tail. Even the ears, it's just, it's a free pattern. The ear is just stitched kind of into shape. So there's that I made, and then I forget why I have these colors left. But anyway, I ended up with this left, so I just made another companion for it. Same thing. I think this one I used a 3mm hook, and this one was a 2.5, I think. Slightly different size. So, or a 3.25 and a 3mm, something like that. But
drinking beer out of a wine glass?
Always the critic. Does beer look like this?
I saw you have the Mike's Hard Lemonade.
That's not beer. Lemonade.
It's in a beer bottle.
It's lemonade.
Beer bottle.
Critic. Anyway, as I was saying, so that's that. The other amigurumi I was doing, last time I showed, I had purchased this pattern because I'd seen the Kims had done them, quite a few of them, and I purchased a pattern. I was just sitting on it, so I decided to finally make it, but I got stuck. Usually doesn't happen with amigurumi, but it was the attaching the body. It's all done in one piece, or you pick up stitches to attach. There's no sewing basically at all for this, which is awesome. but it can get a little fiddly for, I wouldn't call it a newbie type pattern unless you're an adventurous newbie. Which I would think you can do it, but I would give myself some experience doing just some other simpler patterns and then jump into this. But this is Bronto. The smile was not in the pattern. Of course, I like to put the smiles on. It's like the big grin. It was perfect. But this is Bronto, the dinosaur. I wanted his tail, so I used Claudia of Crochet Luna's favorite yarn, Hillspun. And it's a off-white, beigey, pinky green yarn, and I was trying to get to the green and I never got to the green. So it's basically the pink. And I actually went to the other end thinking the green would come out that way, but it was still the beige to do the tail. I think if I had kept going, the tail would have been in pink as well. So the head and the tail are in that beigey off-white color. But yeah, he's done, and now I know what I'm doing. I want to try him in a nice bright poppy color. So yeah, it's great that there's no sewing. That's always a plus. All right. Okay, what else? Other one, bending. So for Setta's cow, which I am now officially not officially taking part in, I had shown the two yarns I was thinking of using, and both of them would have worked because they're different areas of the photo that they go with. But I ended up using both yarns, and I did actually both of them in like 4 hours, I think. Couldn't sleep last night. This is Lion Brand Landscape, and the colorway is Skyline, and I absolutely love it. Well, I love sections of colors in there. It's just so jewel toned and so it touches my soul, kind of jewel tone, deep, rich colors. So look at that. I don't know if it's going to show because of the lighting in here, but it goes from, I started in the back. I actually started in the back, and it started with this brown color, which I kind of took out because I didn't want that in the brim. So I cut that out, and then so you can see where this kind of some of it still. So it started with that, and then it went into this green, tealy green color, and then where it merged into the blue, which I'm not showing you, and then it went into this royal, gorgeous, royally cobalty, royal blue. It's not showing up. It's not doing justice on here. I love the band. Love the band. And then in that skein, there was the brown color, then it went to like a silvery gray color. So it went from brown to silvery gray to like a gunmetal gray to black with a hint of brown almost, but a black, and back to that like gunmetal silvery gray, and it just repeated. But the tealy green color and the blue is just, it's everything, and it's blowing out by the light big time. But so this pattern is my Unforgettable Slouchy, and if you do that in like a cotton or something, it would be perfect for spring summer kind of hat if you're a hat wearer like I am. So yeah, love it. This is definitely going to be, for me, it's a perfect, well, it would be a perfect bad hair day if, if I didn't have such volume. But I still love it. Now, because I knew I wasn't going to have enough, and I still ended up with 2 little balls that I had cut out sections, I abbreviated the pattern. I left off a couple of rows, I think, just so I wouldn't run out of yarn. And then I slightly modified the top, which I'm thinking, I don't know if I might go back and modify the pattern to include this, because I kind of, it's funny how when you write something and you love it and then you do it later on and you change something, you're like, oh, I kind of like that better. But yeah, just so I knew, just so I wouldn't run out of yarn. And then when I got to the top, I wanted to use as much of the yarn that I had left, so I kind of changed the top. So anyway, the Unforgettable Slouchy in Landscape, and the colorway is Skyline. And of course, it's a colorway I got on clearance somewhere. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was on clearance. And then the other one that I did was with, so this is what the colorway, the Landscape colorway, oops, works out as, or it's supposed to work up as. So right here is just here, or in the middle here. That's my jam right there. Gorgeous. And then the other one that I had was a Cupcake Chunky in Berry Muffin. So I used another one of my patterns, and this is the Anissa beanie. I love down here because the Tweety flecks show up, and it's almost like a light Tiffany blue kind of color with the specks of the Tiffany blue color in there. Love it. I was trying for, I wanted to make sure most of the band was in this color, but it started off in this brown that I didn't bother color control, and now I wish I had. But then I don't think I would have had enough for all of that. It would have gone into the blue. But it's at the back. And then these are the colors in it. So if I still have that picture, I will put it in to show what the original inspiration was supposed to be. But this is the Anissa beanie, which can be found on Ravelry and Etsy as well. So 2 of my own. And I love it. All right. What else? So 2 more things. One, I did a separate little video on that you guys hopefully had seen. So I had, probably hearing a little background screaming. I'm just noticing though how sweet that is too. They could cut the sugar out a little, it would be perfect. Anyway, so these are yarns that Miss Canadian Crochet had gifted me a while back. I still have a couple of skeins left, but they were bare yarns that she had gifted me. I decided, because a month ago I had gotten a bunch of clearance Easter egg dye tablets from Walmart. I think they were like 10 cents a pack, and some of them were, the liquid ones I think were 25 cents or something, whatever they were. But they were on clearance, so I decided to use them. And I made my own labels. I have a stamp, so a couple of stamps. This is a different stamp I bought somewhere, I don't remember, I think off Etsy, but my stamp. So these 2 are, let's see if I can take that off. These 2 are pretty much the same. They were in the pot together. And the green section, the tablet looked, you know, beigey color. There's like no indication of green there at all. So I thought it was going to be yellow. So when I picked it up, because that's what I'm trying for, that Malabrigo has a color, I think it's called Sunset, and it just, I haven't used it because I don't want to use it, because I just love looking at it in the skein or in the hank. But I thought, it was still a little damp. I thought it was going to be yellow, and then I picked it up, and then my hand instantly turned green. So this is what we have here, and it's completely blown out on here. It's much brighter. So that was green, and then I had a blue tablet, which kind of just totally disappeared. Actually, it's so pretty. Kind of reminds me of that hat. Let's see if I can show. There's a little section, probably can't see, where it's showing blue, like right here, and you can't really tell, but it's just deep, rich. Basically, the blue got lost, and I think it turned, yeah, it turned into purple. It just got lost, except for, oh couple of spots where it just hit so nice. I know it's not focusing, but... And then I had, this end is so much lighter because it was liquid coloring rather than the tablets. The tablets definitely are more pigmented. But this one barely had any yellow, but you can see a little bit of the yellow on here. And bad lighting, so you can't really see it. But yeah, the blue got lost. The purple, I think the purple and the pink kind of ate up the blue, except for a couple of, oh, if you could only see it, little spots. So pretty. So pretty. Anyway, so yeah, the yellow kind of washed out and the purple and green just took over. So that was that. And then I tried breaking, I had the purple liquid, I think I had 4 of them in the water, and I tried breaking them, and it didn't really break. It just kind of gradiated. So it's more of a pinky purple, and the reason I wanted to break it is when I was first using it, after it was done, I put it on the paper plate, and some of it fell on a napkin, and where it fell and it spread out at the edges of it, it was really bright, like kind of bright pink, and in the middle was like a purpley blue, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can break it. So that's why I tried that. Didn't break. It just gradiated. And then, so since that didn't work out, I decided to just use the pink, and it was a rose pink, and I'm surprised it came out so bright on this end. So because on the paper towel it went from the center was like the purpley blue and the outside was bright pink, I figured they would go well together, and they do, I think. So yeah, that was my, it's been a while since I've dabbled. See where the name came from? I dabbled a lot. Since I've dabbled in dyeing. I think the last time I had done it was when I did the skeins I sent to Debbie. But it's been a while. Mostly because, you know, I have complainers about the smell. And unless you're in that space, that fiber space, it is a lot to take in. So, you know, I understand. But I was telling Father Minion that to me it's like perfume. It's funny, you know, and if I wasn't involved in it, I definitely would think it stinks, but now it's like, oh, do you smell that sheepy smell? It's just, it's wonderful. I know, we're weird. All right, wow, I'm going over. Chitty chatty today. All right, so that's that. And last, continuing it in my bag making, I am really, well, what's spurring me, excuse me, the hard mango's coming back to visit. What's spurring me is that I need to use up the fabric stash. So, problem with that, just like when you use yarn and you finish something, you have all these little balls. You ended up with fabric scraps everywhere. But I'm actually loving it. So, I've made 4 bags since. And again, I know folks are asking if I'm going to sell. On the one hand, I do, because honestly, I don't need that many bags. But then you fall in love with the fabric and you're like, oh, but I don't need that many bags. I haven't decided if I'm going to sell them. I know a couple of people have asked, and I haven't decided. I don't know if I'm just going to, I might just put it on Etsy and then just say, hey, they're on Etsy and have at it, or try to get back to the people who asked and see if and what they wanted. I haven't decided that yet. I know the last time, though, I will say that I did that. A few people did buy, which I'm eternally grateful for and appreciate that they did. And I put some out there after that, and they just lingered. So, I don't know. Didn't like my prices. I can't help that. Or I'm not going to help it to make everybody else feel, or somebody else feel better about what price they want to pay. It's what I was asking for it. So anyway, off my soapbox, and I'll show you the bags that I made. And I think I found the drawstring bag style that works for me. Um, yeah, yeah. So anyway, or the look that I think I like and that I will be, if I keep making that, that's what I will be making. So this fabric is one I found that I completely was just drawn to. It's a like watercolory floral fabric, and this is one that I had made a while back. And the panel, the fabric has on the bottom has the floral part of it, and then as it goes up, it goes into more of a, not a solid but less floral section to it. So this is like, say, the bottom of the fabric, and then as you go up, this is what you see. So as you can see, imagine it's coming from the back, and it's continuing up. And I just, come on, look at all those colors. Just love. But anyway, so it has like this section where there's more gold, but it also had, and I think this was like the third bag. Yeah. Yeah, I sent one to Rose that had more purple in it. But this one is part of the same fabric, but this is just a top section of it, whereas I had used all the floral bottom part of it already. Right? And then I had some scraps, so I used as the drawstring area. Oh, just love it. So one side is more floral, one side is more plain, similar to this. One side more floral, one side more plain. And then the handle and the drawstring. I'm not sure which I like better. Definitely not so much the satiny ribbon. I like the twilly ribbon. And I was having a hard time finding string. I actually found this at the hardware store or Lowe's. And I was looking for cotton, but this is not cotton. Everything is unattainable right now. So there's that one. And the inside has, I call it a Rosetta Lisa, all other purple lover purple, with, there's a pocket here you can't see. There you go. And it has a little hook section on this pocket, and on this side it has a pink pocket. I mentioned last time my pockets, I try to match it, but it's not a priority. It's whatever scraps I have left that can fit a pocket, that's what I'm going to use. And plus, it's just like a nice surprise, I think, in the bag to have something different in there, something interesting. So this one has a pink on this side, as well as the little hook section as well. So yeah, that's that. This is mine. I actually had the Bronto in here, and the hats in there. The next one is a pink, I was going to say Pink Panther, a Black Panther fabric, again with that cork fabric look, golden cork fabric look that I like. I think I got that at Joann's. I gotta go look for that again. I really like it. So yeah, there's that. It's got black twill drawstring, and the inside has two pockets in the same cork fabric, and these were smaller pockets. So actually no, one was smaller, and then one side has a pocket with the little hook area. And I started putting my logo, my label outside. That's because I usually put it on the side, and when I was sewing this up, I totally forgot. So I had to find a place for it, and I put it there, and I actually like it there. So that's where all the bags have it now. There's that. And then I have this one, which is just another bright and cherry, all me. And I have a little bit more of this fabric, so I think I'll be able to make one more, at least out of that. So it's just a bright pink, pop of pink flowers, all different color flowers. And then I use there's yellow gold flowers on it, so I use this. And then I have this fabric I've had for a while for the insides. And then a big enough pocket in that checkered, and that has 2 spots for hooks. And on this side I had a little bit of, see, I told you whatever fabric I have I try to use it and put it to use. So I had a smaller piece of that yellow fabric that I didn't want to throw away, or didn't want to, you know, just let it linger. So I just made a small side pocket, and it's big enough to fit one of your bigger hooks, but you could probably fit a couple of hooks in there. So the pockets are, like I said, whatever I have available that can be used. So some bags may have a pocket, some may not. If there's fabric around for it, that's where. And again, I put now the label on the outside, which I like. And not last, I have another Perk Me Up color. Did I show that one last time? No. Did I? Hang on a second. Okay. For some reason I thought I had shown this, but I made one in this Perk Me, what I call a Perk Me Up fabric. But it was a zipper bag I made. So this is just another pouch. I hope I can find this fabric too. I like that. I don't remember where I bought this one. It might have been at Joann's too, but I like this one. So yeah, another one. And so the inside pocket, one is the same material as that, and it has a spot for a hook. And I had another piece of fabric, so I can turn it inside out. That would probably been better, huh? So I had this piece of I had two long strips of this, and I just put them together and made small, so you could actually fit cards. It's not very deep, but you can fit cards and whatnot, like shallow pockets in there. So they're divided, 2 slots for hooks and 2 slots for cards and whatnot. Yeah. Pockets are always optional. Like I said, if the fabric is around and I can use it, it'll have a pocket, most likely. So, another Perk Me Up. And on the outside, I really like that there. Then the sides now. It'll probably still be on the sides for the, if I make zipper bags, but I am liking the drawstring ones. Yep. And again, those take a little more work because now you got to make the handle, the top, the blah, blah, blah. But, oh, last one. So, one of my colleagues, she's the one, she bought one of my, I had made a wax canvas box bag, a couple of them, and she bought one of them. And for a different colleague on her team at work, I had made a mini drawstring bag, which that colleague uses, like if she's running to the store or the gym, she pops her keys and whatnot in it. So this other colleague wanted the same thing, but she wanted in the wax canvas. And I didn't want to make it just plain wax, just wax canvas, so I lined it in muslin, and I added a bottom to it, and it's got the sparkly gold drawstring. So yeah, no idea when I'm going to see her again, but hers is done. It's tall enough, I think, for like a small water bottle, and yeah, for her to drop her keys and whatnot in and still be able to move around. So that's what I've been doing, sewing. Yeah, I haven't done a proper hat not hate. I'm thinking that might suffice for hat not hate. I don't know. It's blue, but it goes green. It's different shades of blues and greens. Maybe not. I haven't made one in a while. So yeah, I don't know actually what I'm working on next. I am definitely going to try to unravel this, at least to have it done and out of the way, and then most likely some sewing. I do have to make a couple of masks. I lost one of my masks. I have no idea where. So I have to make a couple of replacement ones, and that's all. So I'm back front facing camera, and I'm still not looking at the camera, so it is what it is. Yeah, it's glorious. I hope the weather holds. I hope we don't have those crazy storm weather out of the blue again, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Yeah, that's it for now. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.